Mikel Arteta breaks his silence on the possible arrival of a free agent at Arsenal following Kai Havertz's injury. Meanwhile, the Gunners are preparing a new move for a former Tottenham player after a failed attempt on the final day of the transfer window. All this and more you can check out now with the top Arsenal news directly from Emirates Stadium, so make sure to like the video and check your subscription so you don't miss any updates. And without further ado, let's get started. Arsenal just got hit with some brutal news. Kai Havertz is officially injured. This season has been nothing short of chaotic for the Gunners. Mikel Arteta hasn't had the luxury of working with a fully fit squad even once, and at this rate, it doesn't look like that's gonna change anytime soon. First it was Gabriel Jesus, and now Havertz is out for the rest of the season. That's a massive setback, especially in attack, where Arsenal is already running low on options. With the transfer window closed, Arteta has to get creative and find solutions within the squad, but there's still one possibility on the table: signing a free agent. The big question is, will Arsenal actually go down that route? Arteta has finally addressed the situation. Right now, Arsenal are seriously short on attacking options. Just 3 fully fit forwards left in the squad. It looks like Leandro Trossard will have to take over the central role, with Raheem Sterling and young Ethan Nwaneri playing on either side. Beyond that, Arsenal have no senior natural attackers available, and that's not going to change until Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli make their return, which isn't expected until March. With such a thin squad up front, fans have been buzzing about the idea of signing a free agent to provide some much needed cover. Arteta was asked about that possibility in his latest press conference, and he made it clear that the club is keeping all options open. We'll explore every possible situation and make a decision from there, he said, as reported by Haters TV. That said, Arteta has never been a fan of signing players just for the sake of filling a gap. When asked whether his stance had changed, whether he'd now consider bringing in someone with a certain ability to step in, his response was sharp. Certain ability? They need to have the ability to play at our level. That's the kind of player we'd recognize as someone who can actually support and make an impact on the team. So while the door isn't completely shut, Arsenal won't be making any panic signings. If they bring someone in, it'll be a player who can genuinely contribute. The free agent market is rarely packed with top quality options, especially at this point in the season. That said, Arsenal do have a few names they could consider bringing in, at least as temporary cover while their injured players recover. One of the biggest names available is former Chelsea striker Diego Costa. He's got loads of experience, but at this stage of his career, it's questionable how much he could still offer at the highest level. Other potential options include Ryan Kent, who previously played for Rangers, and Rafinha, who once wore the Barcelona shirt. There's also a familiar face on the list. Ex-Arsenal forward Carlos Vela is currently without a club, and if Arteta wants someone with Real Madrid experience, Mariano Diaz is another free agent on the market. The reality, though, none of these options are particularly exciting. It's hard to imagine Arteta taking a gamble on any of them in the coming weeks. Arsenal set to make fresh transfer approach for former Tottenham Hotspur player after failed deadline day attempt. Arsenal's transfer window has been nothing short of a disaster, especially considering everything that's unfolded since the deadline slammed shut on Monday, February 3rd. Fans are furious with Stan and Josh Kroenke. The lack of signings, combined with injuries to Gabriel Martinelli and Kai Havertz, has left Arsenal painfully thin in attack. The frustration is real, and it's easy to see why. Despite the squad's glaring need for reinforcements up front, the club has no plans to dip into the free agent market for a striker. Instead, Arteta will have to make do with what he's got, meaning he'll need to squeeze the best out of players like the struggling Raheem Sterling and Mikel Merino. Interestingly, one of the few moves Arsenal actually made a push for on deadline day wasn't even for a forward. Instead, they went after a former Tottenham Hotspur Academy defender, and now it looks like they're gearing up for another attempt to get that deal over the line. Arsenal interested Stoke City defender Jayden Dixon. According to the Mail Online, Arsenal are now showing interest in Jayden Dixon, a young defender from Stoke City, after losing Aiden Heaven to Manchester United during the January transfer window. Dixon is just 17 years old, but has already managed to break into Stoke's first team, making 6 appearances across all competitions so far. His performances have stood out, particularly his physicality and calmness on the ball, which have earned him plenty of praise. The Gunners reportedly made an inquiry about Dixon on deadline day, and now they're set to keep keep a close eye on his development for the rest of the season. Dixon is versatile, capable of playing both right back and center back, and he's already earned international recognition, being capped for England at both the U17 and U18 levels. Paul Merson and Chris Sutton both agree on what will happen in Arsenal's game against Leicester. Predictions are in for Arsenal's upcoming match against Leicester City at the King Power Stadium this Saturday afternoon. The Gunners are riding high on a 14-match unbeaten streak in the Premier League and will be looking to keep the momentum going, all while putting more pressure on Liverpool ahead of their clash with Wolves on Sunday. Leicester's manager Arne Slot has seen his side hit with a blow after a late equalizer against Everton in midweek. The game turned tense, with Slot and Curtis Jones both being sent off by referee Mikel Arteta after the final whistle. For Arsenal, this match is a chance to take advantage of Leicester's nerves, particularly with Liverpool potentially feeling the heat. In the reverse fixture back in September, Arsenal won 4-2 at the Emirates in a thrilling encounter, but they'll be hoping for a much more straightforward win this time around. After all, that previous game needed a stoppage time goal to seal the deal against a Leicester side battling relegation. Paul Merson predicts Leicester versus Arsenal. Arsenal will be missing Kai Havertz for this match after the German forward suffered a hamstring injury, sidelining him for the rest of the season. On top of that, Gabriel Martinelli is also out, which leaves the Gunners extremely thin in attack. Despite these setbacks, former Arsenal player and now pundit Paul Merson is still confident that his old team will get the win over Leicester. Writing for Sportskita, Merson said, "This is a good game for Arsenal, even though they've been rocked by the injury to Kai Havertz. I know they're struggling in the forward department, but I still expect them to win. Leicester are awful defensively, and they could be hammered here. I don't see Leicester winning, but I'll say this is a different Leicester compared to just 6 weeks ago. Ruud van Nistelrooy should tell his players to go at Arsenal in this one." Merson's score prediction, Leicester 1-3 Arsenal. Chris Sutton makes Leicester vs Arsenal prediction. Like Paul Merson, Chris Sutton is also backing Arsenal to secure a comfortable win over Leicester, with a 2-goal margin in his score prediction. Writing for BBC Sport, Sutton shared, "Even with Havertz out, and Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli both injured too, I still think Arsenal have more than enough to beat Leicester." He also pointed out that Leandro Trossard will likely lead the attack, though Raheem Sterling could fill that role as well. Leicester are out of the FA Cup and were hammered by Everton in their last Premier League match. This game won't be nearly as close as their last meeting in September, Sutton added. His score prediction, Leicester 0-2 Arsenal. While Arsenal should have enough to comfortably overcome Leicester, it's worth noting that the Gunners are likely to field a front three that hasn't played together regularly, so breaking the deadlock at the King Power might not be as easy as it seems. Well folks, those were the main news for today. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated on everything happening with our beloved team, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for joining us, and until the next video.